Take one.
For this specific piece, I've thought about Golem because I've been very much fascinated by AI, artificial intelligence, and how it's all developed. And most fascinating, I find the history of artificial intelligence, and one of its roots is in beside Leibniz's works, mathematical works specifically, it's Golem, that is in the history of Judaism, and yeah.
Do you prefer being thought of as a composer or as an artist more generally?
I prefer to be called more as an artist. I identify myself as an artist more than I am a composer. I mean, I've studied composition. This is what I do. But sometimes I feel like this cannot be exactly, or the whole definition of how I identify myself.
Yeah.
But artist is a much broader term. It brings like so much history with it that is not just music, and that is just not the history of music.
Yeah.
From the beginning of my studies here in Germany till now, it's just a continuous development of what I first found the term hypermedia composition, but then I was like, this is too much. I cannot just find a word for what I do. So even that's part of like defining what I am or defining what I do, with both the visual parts, meaning creating videos, video arts, performance arts, and theater, and also the music. It was a long process. I would describe my work as the storyline being told by both music and visuals. And this story is not a narrative that you would know in a traditional way, going from A to B, just, having some kind of results that you're waiting for, but more of a statement, very subtle, even in narrating that story. And all other elements, the theater, the subtle theatrical elements, the performance art, the video, the electroacoustic music, and also the instruments, bodies that are on the stage, they all come together to work for that idea, to work for that concept. And I believe really in simplicity. I think stories come to be in the most simple way, and the way they are told should be as simple and fascinating. I don't mean that how I do it is fascinating, but I am very impressed by how stories all are told in abstract, in subtle, and sometimes absurd ways. I'm just a big fan of that.
Yeah,
I
can tell.
I truly believe, artist or not, musician or not, composer or not, we are all political beings, and we have all the platform needed to express that being. And that could be the speech, if you can talk, or sign language, in any kind of language that you can use to spread the word. And that's the bare minimum that anybody can do. I don't know how much of an impact it could have, especially in a European country and even in the States. I mean, I haven't been to the States, so I can't really tell. But for example, these kind of processes, I can understand if they're happening in a very oppressed country like Iran. Like you do the minimum of creating music and just gathering musicians together and play something very simple. It can be seen as a political event because of the situation there.
Yeah.
And the lack of privilege of doing something more. So it's I don't think it's the same. So I try not to generalize the idea of how political can music be.